Oxford University Press. I can hardly believe that I'm entering the offices of the great Oxford University Press. I need to find an editor in the poetry section. First, I must get past reception. Excuse me, I begin. I would like to meet with the editor of your poetry list, please. Do you have an appointment? I wasn't expecting this, so I have to think quickly on my pause. No, but I am the great Simeon of Oxford, and as I discovered I had a small window in my schedule, I thought I would do the editor the honour of dropping by personally. She didn't seem impressed, so I add. You see, I have discovered an up to now undiscovered stanza of poetry by Gerard Manley Hopkins. Gerard Manley who? She asked. This was going to be difficult. I tried not to sigh. I didn't want to sound as if I knew more than she did. Gerard Manley Hopkins, I said. I think he was Victorian, but you would know better than I. Actually, I did know he was Victorian, but wanted her to feel she could contribute to the conversation. But she didn't respond. She didn't seem to grasp the importance of the chance I was giving OUP. I reckon it's a once-in-a-generation chance. A cat generation is only a few months, so I don't know what makes that phrase such a big deal for humans. They say it a lot on the Today program on Radio 4. I must ask the White Rabbit how long a generation is for rabbits. So for now, I summon all the authority I can muster and just give it my best. Standing up straight on my hind legs, I say, this is a once-in-a-generation chance for your poetry editor. I'm sure he will want to bite. She said. Oops. Just at that moment, as can happen only in stories, the very person I need to see passes through reception. The receptionist defers to me for the poet's name, having already forgotten it, and of course the editor recognizes it straight away. Within 30 seconds, I am ushered into her office. This discovery of mine is indeed seen as big news. It might make them consider a new collection. I hoped they would include my name, but I don't like to press the point on first acquaintance. The editor talks of a news release, and perhaps even a mention on the BBC Radio 4 Sunday programme, and of the stanza finding a place in the OUP Museum. I leave the stanza with her, and she kindly gives me an official receipt. If they don't do a new edition, I would have it returned to me, she promises. As we part, I feel I have left my find in good hands. I decide not to broach the idea with the receptionist of seeing an editor about the very, very, very short introduction. There was anyway no time to meet another editor, and my case would be strengthened if I could prove that it would sell well. I decide to add it to my Blackwell's agenda. Time is moving on, and I don't want to be late. Back to Blackwell's. I have made a rough list for my lunchtime meeting, and now I work on the order. As I make my way along Beaumont Street, I run over it in my head so I don't forget anything. 1. Choose a tuna sandwich without mayonnaise. 2. Find a paper napkin to wipe my paws. 3. Ask the man with the lanyard if he has a name and tell him that he may call me Simeon. 4. A warm-up. Tell him about the Mystery 4 in case he doesn't know. 5. Ask him frankly if he thinks a very, 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 very short introduction to cats would sell. Number 6, important. Does he have ideas for where the Simeon could be located. 7, very important, does he know who makes decisions about adding petrified heads outside the Sheldonian? 8, ultra important, could he give me contact details if he does? We sit down next to the window, looking out on the sculpted heads. He kindly says he likes my dandelion. It adds panache, he thinks. I've reached number 3 of my agenda, and we are on first name terms. Ulrich tells me that my story will be placed in the Bodleian Library, as it is a legal deposit library, or some such name. I must tell Jeff the Don, and Polly and Freddie and Roo. The single volume complete works of the Pussycat of the Purloose, who purrs through its pages in perpetuity. I like that. Who would have thought my book would be in the Bodleian? Ulrich is interested to hear about the Mystery 4 and kindly thanks me for explaining. However, he is less than sanguine about a very, 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 very short introduction. He says that students like short books more than they like long books, but they might find it a bit expensive if they had to pay £6.99 for just 4 words. And it was difficult to achieve the margins with anything priced lower than that. I don't see what margins have to do with it. The margins could be really wide, especially with so few words. Maybe he doesn't really know what he is talking about, but he doesn't like to say. I give him another chance. Even if I pad it out with a pretentious blah 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 introduction and some appendices, he says he thinks it's unlikely, so I don't press it. Maybe I'll self-publish it as an ebook. You win some, you lose some. This one looks as if it's lost. I change the subject and decide to tell him about my Gerard Manley Hopkins find. He is familiar with Gerard's work and most interested to hear of my stanza. He is sure that Blackwell's would stock the new edition. I can't wait to see it with my name in the introduction. It's funny how history works out.